You woke up last night. 3 a.m. No reason. You checked your phone, sighed, rolled over. That wasn't insomnia. That was a job. An old one. Older than language. Older than fire itself becoming normal. Tonight somewhere a fire is dying down to embers. And somebody has to notice. For most of human history, that job decided who lived until morning. So who got picked? Let's go back and find out. Picture this. 100,000 years ago, a cave mouth, a ring of stone, 12 people, one small fire. Outside, the dark isn't empty. It's full of teeth, hyenas, leopards, things with better night vision than you'll ever have. Fire is the only thing keeping them out. Not because animals fear flame itself. They fear the light, the unpredictability, the smoke in their throats. But fire needs feeding. Let it drop to coals and the barrier disappears. So somebody has to stay half awake, all night, every night, for generations. That's not a chore. That's the difference between a bloodline and a bone pile. Here's the obvious guess. You'd assume there was a rota, a schedule, a guy with a spear-standing watch, simple, efficient, human, except that's not really how it worked. There's a much stranger answer, and it's still inside you right now. Let's talk about sleep. Not how long you sleep, when. Some people crash early and wake before dawn. Some people can't sleep before midnight. We call these chronotypes. Doctors treat them like a modern inconvenience, a scheduling bug for the 9-to-5 world. But evolution doesn't design bugs, it designs solutions. Here's the pattern researchers noticed. Studies of modern hunter-gatherer groups like the Hadza in Tanzania found something wild. Across an entire night, everyone's sleep timing was staggered. Young adults slept the deepest, the longest. Older adults woke earlier, and more often, teenagers stayed up latest. Children drifted somewhere in between. Result? At almost any given moment, someone was awake. One observational study found the whole camp was asleep all at once for a tiny sliver of the night. Sometimes almost never. No guard schedule, no argument, no shift chart pinned to a tree. Just biology quietly doing the math. Let that sink in. You didn't need a night watchman. You needed a group. A group with different internal clocks. Overlapping, covering each other. Like gears in a machine none of them designed. Evolution didn't give one person the job. It spread the job across everyone's biology. That's not a rule someone invented. That's a system that invented itself. Now here's the twist that stings a little. Who got the worst shifts? The oldest people in camp. Grandma wasn't tired at dawn by accident. Her circadian rhythm had shifted over decades toward earlier waking. Less deep sleep, lighter sleep, more alert at 4 a.m. Modern medicine calls this a symptom of aging. Something to fix, something to medicate. But maybe it isn't broken. Maybe it's a leftover job title. Night watch, senior division. Think about that the next time an elderly relative complains they can't sleep past 5. They're not malfunctioning. They might be the last one on duty. A biological alarm system with 300,000 years of tenure. Nobody promoted them. Nobody can fire them either. But wait, there's another side of this. If elders were built to wake easily, what were the young built for? Depth? Young adults, especially new mothers aside, tend to fall into the deepest, most restorative sleep of the group. That's not laziness, that's trust. Deep sleep is expensive, vulnerable, risky. You only get to switch it off completely if someone else is covering you. The young slept deep because the old stayed light. The system only works as a group. Alone in the dark, humans are soft, slow, and nearly blind. Together, staggered across the night, there's something closer to unbreakable. Now picture the fire again. Embers glowing low, someone's grandmother stirs, opens her eyes. Not because a rule told her to. Because her body already knew it was her turn. She leans forward, feeds the fire, doesn't wake anyone, doesn't need thanks. Lies back down, half alert, ancient job, quietly done. Multiply that by 10,000 nights. That's not a coincidence keeping your ancestors alive. That's architecture. Here's the part that should genuinely unsettle you. This system is still running, right now, in your own household. The teenager who won't sleep before 1 a.m. Not defiant, not lazy. Their internal clock has shifted later, a well-documented pattern in adolescence. The grandparent up at dawn, silently making tea, same ancient rhythm. The new parent who wakes at every tiny sound. Also the system. A different shift, but the same design. You've been told these are problems. Sleep disorders, generational friction, something to fix with routine and discipline. But zoom out far enough, and it looks like something else completely. It looks like a night watch. Still staffed, still working. Nobody remembers hiring it. Of course, we should be careful here. This isn't proof that a council of cavemen assigned bedtimes. Nobody voted on this. No elder stood up and announced, "I volunteer for insomnia." This is a hypothesis built from modern observation, projected backward. Anthropologists propose it as one explanation among several for why chronotypes vary so much within a species. Evidence suggests it. It doesn't prove it beyond doubt. But the pattern is strong enough that multiple researchers keep landing on the same idea. Staggered sleep isn't a flaw. It might be a feature that outlived its original purpose. Let's push further. Why does this matter now? Because we've built a world that punishes the system. We force teenagers into 7 a.m. classes against their biology. We tell elderly people their early waking is decline, not duty. We medicate light sleepers instead of asking why the body stays alert. We optimized for one uniform sleep schedule. But nothing about human sleep was ever meant to be uniform. It was meant to be a team. A team spread across the clock, covering every hour, so no single person had to survive the whole night alone. Here's a stranger thought. Loneliness might be part of this story too. A solo sleeper, off in a private room with nobody staggered beside them, is doing something evolutionarily unusual. For almost all of human history, sleep was a group event. Shared warmth, shared risk, shared coverage. The isolated night, silent and single, is the actual historical anomaly. Not your 3 a.m. wake-up. That part, ironically, is the ancient normal. So back to the question. Who was responsible for keeping the fire alive? Not one hero with a spear. Not a single tired soul pulling the short straw. Everyone, in shifts they never scheduled, written into their bodies before they were born. The system didn't need trust, or rules, or hierarchy. It needed variation. Different people, wired to wake at different hours, stacked together like a fence with no gaps. That's not a myth about ancient discipline. That's math, wearing skin. Next time you snap awake at 3 a.m., for absolutely no reason, don't reach straight for your phone. Lie there a second. Listen to the quiet. Somewhere in your DNA, a fire is still burning. And some very old, very patient part of you just clocked in. Ask yourself the real question. Is your body broken? Or is it remembering?